Hey guys, today we're checking out a brand new kitty that just dropped in Seal of Fate, Aviary. She's part of the Sanctum faction, a support class character with an absolutely adorable look. Right now, she's featured in the event, but the big question is her power just about the looks, or
First, told
is
me
there
your
more to
story.
it?
You're full
You
of
might be
mysteries and
thinking,
surprises,
well,
Captain.
she's just a support Meowmate. No way she's on the same level as those heavy hitting DPS or the top tier tankers. But trust me, Aviary is far from ordinary. She's not about throwing out insane damage numbers, and she's not an unbreakable shield either. What she does bring is battlefield control, giving your team some crazy advantages. So today, let's dive in and find out if this little cat might just be the secret final boss you've been waiting for all along. All right, now let's get into the most important part, Aviary's skill set. This is what really decides how strong she is. First up, her basic attack, Spirit Strike. Pretty simple, it just deals physical damage to a single target. Nothing too flashy here, so let's move on quickly. The real highlight and Aviary's core ability is her ultimate skill, Dancing Rhythm. The name sounds elegant, but don't be fooled, the power behind it is anything but gentle. When activated, Aviary deals damage to an entire row of enemies. More importantly, there's a 20% chance to inflict the caged bird effect. This is insanely annoying because it completely locks enemies out of using any abilities, whether it's a normal attack, EX skill, or even their ultimate. Imagine the enemy team lining up their ult to finish you off, only to suddenly get locked down and left helpless. That feeling? Absolutely priceless. On top of that, the skill also lets Aviary drain some HP from enemies, keeping her alive during those clutch, high pressure fights. Next, let's look at her passive skills. These don't directly deal damage, but they're what turn Aviary into a surprisingly tough wall. Condensed Wind gives her damage reduction right at the start of the battle. Then Balance further boosts her survivability by reducing the final damage she takes. Thanks to these two passives, Aviary is no longer that fragile support people might expect. Finally, we've got one more crucial passive, Singing. This one has a unique mechanic, but it's super effective. After an enemy gets hit 3 times by any attack from your team, they get slapped with the prisoner control effect. That means Aviary doesn't even need to be the one attacking nonstop. As long as her teammates keep the pressure up, enemies will end up jailed. This makes her an amazing fit for fast attack or AoE heavy teams. In short, Aviary's kit is all about control and survivability. She's not here to drop insane damage numbers, but she is that clutch playmaker who shuts down opponents and keeps her team safe. Next up is the part where Aviary truly transforms and becomes an absolute monster in the game when she gets upgraded to the Mythic Awaken. If you stop at SSR, you're really only seeing half of her true potential. Once she reaches Mythic rank, Aviary's skills get pushed to a whole new level. First, her control power gets huge upgrade. Whenever an enemy is defeated, the caged bird effect can spread to nearby targets, creating a domino effect that locks down entire enemy formations. On top of that, her skills now deal additional true damage to enemies affected by the debuff, which means she's not just locking people down anymore, she's actually dishing out some serious punishment. But the real game changer comes from her early game buff. At the start of battle, Aviary grants her team a massive boost. Plus 30% critical rate and plus 10% defense penetration right from the opening rounds. This is the kind of buff that can straight up decide matches, especially in fast-paced PvP fights where every turn matters. So remember, investing in Aviary at Mythic level is 100% worth it. She's no longer just a regular support, but a strategic powerhouse capable of completely flipping the outcome of a battle. Now that we've broken down her skills, let's talk about where Aviary should be placed and who she works best with to maximize her power. For positioning, Aviary is usually placed in the back line to keep her safe since she's not a tank. But if you want to squeeze the most value out of her ultimate, position her so her column lines up directly with the enemy's strongest threats. That way, you can shut down their biggest damage dealers right from the start. Her main role in any lineup is control and disable. With Caged Bird and Prisoner in her kit, Aviary is a nightmare for enemy DPS Meowmates or tough bosses with dangerous ultimates. On top of that, her damage reduction and lifesteal effects help keep the whole squad tougher and more durable in long battles. When it comes to team synergy, Aviary becomes absolutely terrifying. Thanks to her Mythic Awaken buff that grants critical rate and defense penetration, she turns heavy-hitting DPS like Valkyra or Kion into insane damage machines from the very first turn. Plus, pairing her with two other Sanctum Meowmates activates the Cleric bond, which not only boosts Aviary's survivability, but also increases the team's overall damage stats. The result? A squad that's both tanky and capable of dishing out massive damage. In short, keep Aviary safe in the back, aim her ultimate at the enemy's strongest threats, and pair her with burst DPS and other Sanctum allies. That's when she turns into a real game changer. So, after fully understanding Aviary's skill set, is she really the right choice for your team? Let's take a look at her strengths and weaknesses to make the final decision. First, about the strengths. Aviary's biggest advantage is her control ability. With effects like Caged Bird and Prisoner, she can disable strong enemies and prevent them from using important skills. Especially when upgraded to Mythic, her control effect can spread when a target is defeated, turning her into a real nightmare. Second, Aviary is an extremely powerful support Meowmate. She doesn't just provide control, but also brings extremely valuable buffs, especially at Mythic. The buff that increases critical rate and defense penetration will give your DPS a huge advantage right from the start of the match. Finally, thanks to her damage reduction and HP recovery, Aviary also makes the whole team tougher and more durable in long battles. However, Aviary also has a few weaknesses you need to consider. First, her strength depends heavily on reaching Mythic Awaken. If you only keep Aviary at normal SSR, she won't stand out too much and can easily be replaced by other Meowmates. But upgrading to Mythic costs a lot of resources, which is a big barrier for many players. Second, since she is a support, Aviary's damage is very limited. She cannot finish off enemies on her own, but needs to go with a strong DPS to make the most of the advantages she creates. Lastly, to maximize her control potential, Aviary needs a coordinated team, especially Meowmates with fast attack speed to stack the prisoner effect. Without that, her effectiveness will be greatly reduced. So, to sum it up, Aviary is a very worthwhile investment if you're ready to take her to Mythic and build a team around her control ability. However, when choosing between Aviary and Lustie, both are great in their own way. If you need support, go for Aviary. If you need a tanker with good damage, go for Lustie. If you already have many strong Sanctum heroes, then pick Aviary so she can unlock the bond feature and make the team stronger. But if you already have a strong Nocturne team, then pick Lustie. Personally, I'd choose Lustie because I'm lacking a good damage dealer, and I already have a team that can support her really well. If you found this video helpful, don't hesitate to give me a like, share it, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. I'll keep updating you with the latest info and detailed reviews of other Meowmates in Seal of Fate. See you all in the next videos.